Before the invasion of 2014, Crimea was a part of another country, Ukraine, reformed when the Soviet Union broke up into separate states. But many Russians, including their president Vladimir Putin, were unhappy with this. Russia had retained important military bases in Crimea, and there was also a substantial ethnic Russian population in the Black Sea enclave. Factors that made the Kremlin determined to take control of Crimea. But in the final months of 2013, things were stirring in the Ukrainian capital, Kiev. Then President Viktor Yanukovych, well known for his sympathies towards Moscow, rejected closer ties with the European Union in favor of placing Ukraine effectively under Russia's wing. Resulting protests brought hundreds of thousands into Maidan Square in the center of Kiev, as well as other cities across the country. The Russian media called all the protesters neo-Nazis, and pro-government militia, supported by snipers, were ordered to put down these protests with brute force. 121 demonstrators were killed, hundreds more wounded. On February 26, 2014, Crimean Tatars clashed with their Russian neighbors outside the parliament in the regional capital, Simferopol, convinced that Russia was planning to grab Crimea. In the early hours of the following morning, CCTV footage captured armed men without insignia on their uniforms seizing the parliament building.
The Russian military now being directly involved in fighting Ukrainian government forces.
Satellite imagery show Russian combat units southeast of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine.
Russia has deliberately and repeatedly violated the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine.
I think we are coming to a situation that is similar, to a large extent, to what we lived during the Cold War. In the Cold War, there were clearly two superpowers with a complete control of the situation of two areas in the world. Now we have many other actors. On the other hand, during the Cold War, there were mechanisms of communication and control to avoid the escalation of incidents, to make sure that things would not get out of control when tensions would rise. Those mechanisms have been dismantled.
40 countries joined the UN resolution on the annexed Crimea. The bill claimed rude violations of human rights.
I appealed for 2017 to be a year for peace. Unfortunately, in fundamental ways, the world has gone in reverse. I'm issuing an alert, a red alert for our world. Conflicts have deepened and new dangers have emerged. Global anxieties about nuclear weapons are the highest since the Cold War. Inequalities are growing, and we see horrific violations of human rights. Nationalism and xenophobia are on the rise. I urge leaders everywhere, narrow the gaps, bridge the divides, rebuild trust by bringing people together around common goals. Unity is the path. Our future depends on it.